So I'm born and brought up in Bangalore to a middle class family. We didn't have access to toys or to summer holidays, but we had access to the best education that our parents could afford. The one thing my parents were very clear about is that education is the way forward if we have to change our circumstance. So they invested quite a bit in me and my sisters to ensure we got the best quality education, and we always stayed focused on academics. So I was a top ranking student all through school, through college. A big shift that came into my life was during my 10th grade when I finished my grade examinations and I stood among the top 3 in school. I chose to pursue the commerce stream. I applied to one of the best schools in Bangalore and I got rejected. And I went to meet the principal and he said, "We've rejected your application because we would like to give you admission in a science stream." I convinced him that science was not what I was interested in, and I managed to get admission into the school. College was a breeze, boring. I finished college and I was all set to do my master's in business administration, become an investment banker, a consultant, some of the things that some of you might be thinking of doing. I said, let me get a few years of work experience under my belt. The second big shift in my life was an opportunity to spend 3 months in a city called Oulu in Finland. It's the year 1999, and I didn't know where Finland was on the world map. But I did go. Within the first couple of weeks, I made friends with a girl who had spent 6 months in a small village in Rajasthan, teaching a group of children in a government school. We became really good friends. And in the process of getting to know each other, I found out that she works as a bartender at a local bar. And when I found that out, I didn't want to be friends with her anymore. I kept thinking, how could I be friends with a girl who works at a bar? What would my parents think of this? Luckily for me, I also started thinking, why am I thinking like this? And that opened a journey of discovery for me into an upbringing of stereotypes. I began to discover that even though coming from a relatively lower middle class family, I had grown up in boundaries. I didn't know the name of a domestic help in our house who took care of me from the day I was born. I didn't know where she lived, what her life was like. I made friends with another gentleman who invited me home for a beautiful Indian meal that he cooked for me. He was very excited to tell me what he does for a living. He goes inside his bedroom and comes out with a beautifully starred uniform. He says, "I'm a security guard at the Radisson." My reaction, I started looking around. How could he live in such a beautiful house? How could he be proud of being a security guard? I don't know of any security guard back in India who's proud of the career choice. Actually, I actually don't know any security guard. Those 3 months were a process that helped me discover who I am and who I am not. I asked questions like, who do I want to be? What do I want to do with my life? One life, what do I want it to be? I used to keep a diary, and I wrote in my diary that I want to go back to India and change the way we look at dignity in our world, in our country. I didn't know how, but I knew this is what I need to do. Not realizing that in a country like Finland, with a population of just 5 million, the idea of dignity was easy to develop and accept. But in a country of 1 billion, where I grew up with mindsets and stereotypes every moment of my life, it's a whole different ballgame. I came back and I was lucky enough to find 11 other people who were already on a journey to start an organization called DreamaDream. And I chose to join them to discover myself. I didn't know how, but I said maybe this is a path. I also wanted to pursue my corporate career, so I started working with an investment bank in Mumbai. I had never been to Mumbai before. My first trip, I walked out the streets and I was shocked to see the extent of visible poverty around me. But you know what shocked me even more? I got used to it. I could wear blinders every day and go from home to work and forget that around me the children on the streets. I chose not to forget. I spent 1.5 years in Mumbai volunteering with a variety of organizations, just trying to understand why does poverty exist in our country. And it's been 16 years, I still don't have an answer. It doesn't make sense. In 2002, I moved back to Bangalore, decided to take on DreamaDream. We started a variety of programs for children and young people who come from difficult backgrounds, focused on developing life skills. But more importantly, it was a journey for me to discover the idea of dignity. What does dignity mean in daily life for someone like me, for someone like you? In 2002, I met an 11-year-old boy at a shelter home for runaway boys in Ravana. He participated in a variety of programs over a 7-year period at DreamaDream. When he turned 18, he came over to me and he said, I want to work at DreamaDream. I said, sure, why not? And he started developing a rugby program for boys and girls from a local slum community. He got deeply engrossed in the program. There were about 30 kids in the program. In 2009, we as an organization decided to stop the rugby program for a variety of reasons. He didn't like the idea. He was all of 18 years old. He decided to do something about it. He went back to the kids and he said, the organization is planning to close down the program. I don't like it. What do you think? The kids then decided to make a video of their experience of the program. So one fine day, they land up at office, a bunch of kids with Ravana. They sit us down in our room and say, we want you to see this video. And over the next 3 minutes, they showed us the power of our work in the communities, of how rugby has started building an identity for this group of children. So much so that there was a group of 6 young people, boys and girls, who had decided to start their own community-based rugby program for other kids in the slum who were not going to school, without our knowledge. This opened a new phase of discovery for me. The discovery I had was that organizations, by its very nature, are never going to affect change. People do. People like you and me affect change. That day, Ravana created a space for me to have a learning around community change. Ravana that day demonstrated that he was a change maker. One of the boys that he worked with in the rugby program was deeply influenced by Ravana. When he turned 19, Ravi, he came to Ravana and he said, I want to work at DreamaDream. I want to be a life skills facilitator at DreamaDream. He was assigned to school, he was trained. He landed up at the school and he was scared. He said, I'm only 19. There are going to be teachers in this school. I'm nervous. How am I going to interact with the teachers? So he said hi to the teachers and disappeared into his session. One of the teachers came in to observe his session. And Ravi was very, very nervous, very anxious. At the end of the session, the kids left. The kids had a great time. The teacher started walking towards Ravi. And Ravi was scared that maybe he did something wrong. The teacher came to Ravi and he said, Sir, that session was really amazing. And you know what struck Ravi? That there was a teacher who called him Sir. The space that was created for Ravi for dignity. He comes back to Ravana and he can't hold himself. He says, I was called Sir. And he recollected his growing up years when every individual in his family and community told Ravi that he's useless, he's good for nothing, he's never going to get anywhere in life, and all kinds of abusive words. That one moment, the transformation in Ravi happened. Today, Ravi works as a life skills facilitator at DreamaDream, working with 150 other children who look up to Ravi as a role model and actually turn around and say, I want to be like Ravi sir. Ravana himself today runs the program that manages 5,000 children. When we are talking about creating spaces within our communities, within our country, I think what journeys we embark on, whether it's my own journey, the Ravana with his journey and Ravi with his journey, and hundreds of other kids, thousands of other kids at DreamaDream, the one thing that they're consistently doing is questioning their own stereotypes. One of the ways we're investing in that ability to question is by building a culture within the organization of trust, dignity, and accountability. Because we believe DreamaDream can be a microcosm of the way society could possibly be in our future. A society where we are not sitting in our cocoons, focused only within our apartment blocks, within our houses. A society where we are stepping out and challenging our own stereotypes, challenging who we are in our own society, who you are sitting in this room, in this beautiful campus, and how you think and what you believe impacts the world outside this campus, impacts a Ravana and his idea of dignity, impacts a Ravi and his idea of dignity. Young people from difficult backgrounds in India today are surging away, breaking those stereotypes for themselves and reclaiming dignity. The question is, are we claiming dignity in the spaces where we belong? Thank you.